Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rory McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. The Holy Father Pope Francis has appealed to all the faithful to pray the Rosary daily during this Marian month, seeking peace in Ukraine. He made this exhortation during his customary Regina Caeli address on Sunday, May the 1st. While speaking to believers, he directed his thoughts to the devastated Ukrainian port city of Mariupol that was carpet-bombed by Russians. The Pope also remembered all the suffering victims, including children and the elderly. His Holiness also renewed his call for safe humanitarian corridors so that civilians trapped in the city's steelwork complex can be evacuated. The Holy Father said, quote, "I suffer and weep, thinking of the suffering of the Ukrainian people, in particular of the weakest, the elderly and the children." In Egypt, atrocities against the Coptic Christian minority are still continuing. In the latest incident, a young Coptic believer was fatally gunned down near his shop in the city of Dabaa in the Matrouh Governorate. Local media reports say that 4 men wearing masks fired a volley of bullets at Rani Rafat, killing him on the spot a few days ago. They also torched his car before leaving the scene. Mr. Rafat was running a store selling veterinary drugs. Egyptian media quoted his relatives as saying that Rafat was a victim of sectarian strife. His killing comes weeks after a Coptic priest was fatally stabbed multiple times in the city of Alexandria. Father Arsenius Vadid, who was 56 years old, succumbed to multiple stab wounds after he was knifed on a seaside promenade in the Sidi Bashir area of the city. Police later arrested the culprit, who had ties with extremists. Pope Francis has appointed a new Apostolic Vicar for the Vicariate of Southern Arabia, which encompasses the United Arab Emirates, Yemen and the Sultanate of Oman. Auxiliary Bishop of Milan in Italy and Capuchin Friar Bishop Paolo Martinelli has been appointed as the successor of Bishop Paul Hinder OFM. In a video statement, Bishop Hinder said, quote, "Bishop Martinelli is known to me as an outstanding Franciscan Capuchin friar and priest. I am sure our Vicariate will grow further under his pastoral guidance." Bishop Martinelli will assume office in his new see in the coming months, and the date of installation will be announced shortly. Until he takes charge, Bishop Hinder has been directed by the Holy Father to continue as Apostolic Administrator of the Vicariate, which has 1 million believers, almost all of whom are migrant workers from Asia, Africa, Europe and the Americas. The church in Muslim-majority Indonesia is exulting over a rich harvest of vocations, with 8 young men being ordained priests and 14 others receiving the diaconate last week. April the 27th was a day of rejoicing for Catholic believers in Palembang in South Sumatra, as 8 deacons belonging to the Congregation of the Priests of the Sacred Heart, also known as Dehonians, were ordained priests. The solemn ceremony took place in the parish church of St. Peter, and it was presided over by Archbishop Johannes Harun Yuwono of Palembang. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, only a select number of priests, religious community leaders and relatives of the deacons attended the ordination ceremony. Also present was Bishop Emeritus of Palembang, Aloysius Sudarso. On April the 28th, 14 young seminarians were ordained as deacons in Malang, East Java, by local ordinary Bishop Henricus Pidiarto Gunawan. 3 Jesuit deacons and 1 from Merauke Archdiocese in Papua will be ordained as priests in Yogyakarta, Central Java, on May the 5th, with the ceremony being presided over by Archbishop Robertus Rubityamoko of Semarang. On Saturday, April the 30th, scores of worshippers attended the Holy Eucharistic celebration in a church in Mosul in northern Iraq for the first time since it was rebuilt after being damaged by ISIS militants. During their takeover, members of the outfit utilised the 19th Matrouh Syriac Catholic Church as a prison and court. Earlier, during a ceremony in September last year, a new bell was ceremoniously installed in the church. Although Holy Mass was celebrated, the restoration work is still going on. Parish priest Father Pius Afas expressed gratitude to those behind the restoration work, saying, quote, "The church has been restored to its past glory, as it was 160 years ago. ISIS had demolished all Christian icons in the church, and the structure itself was damaged in shelling and fire. Nineveh was left in ruins following 3 years of ISIS occupation, which ended in 2017, when Iraqi forces backed by US-led coalition airstrikes drove them out." A British parliamentary committee has flayed the Pakistani government for the persecution of religious minorities such as Christians, Hindus, Sikhs and Ahmadiyya Muslims. On Friday, the House of Commons International Development Committee published a report titled UK Aid to Pakistan, in which it said that the country's infamous blasphemy law is misused to settle personal scores and to target people belonging to minority communities. The report says that there have been recent incidents in which people belonging to minority communities have been charged with unsubstantiated blasphemy charges, and some of them have even been lynched. The committee recommended that the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office should ensure that the programmes they fund are totally inclusive and they make a particular effort to reach minorities. The report also decried the forced conversions to Islam, saying most of such cases involved young women or teenage girls from minority religions who were coerced to change their faith and even marry someone not of their choice. The president of Muslim-majority Kazakhstan sent greetings to the first plenary assembly of the newly formed Catholic Bishops' Conference of Central Asia that took place in the Kazakh capital Nur-Sultan from April the 27th to April the 29th. According to a press department statement, President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev dispatched Senate Chairman Milan Auxiliary to the meeting of prelates with his message, in which he wished the participants a fruitful and successful conference, noting that it was held on the 30th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Kazakhstan and the Holy See. The President said that significant contributions were made to the country by Catholics and members of other faiths, adding that it has helped establish the country's image as a modern society that promotes tolerance and mutual understanding among different religions and ethnic groups. Ashimbayev also described Pope Francis's upcoming visit to Kazakhstan in September as a historic and unique event that will reaffirm the nation's standing as a credible venue for interreligious and inter-civilization discourse. The Holy Father had expressed his willingness to attend the 7th World Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions, which will be held in Nur-Sultan on September the 14th to the 15th. A Nigerian Catholic bishop has criticised politicians, saying that they have lost the trust of the people. Bishop Julius Kundi of Kafanchan Diocese in the nation's violence-hit Kaduna state used strong words to flay those in power for failing in their roles. He said this in a homily during the consecration of St. William's Catholic Church in Kaura, an outstation of St. Francis's parish in Manchok in Kaduna State. The prelate said Nigeria's political class had broken the people's confidence, adding that believers should vote wisely in the polls next year and change the face of politics, appealing to the leaders to work for the common good. The prelate also said that politicians are taking citizens for granted. Meanwhile, the State Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs in Kaduna, Samuel Aruwan, has asked churches in the state to offer prayers for soldiers and security agents who are battling armed bandits. He made this appeal for prayer during Sunday worship in Barnawa, saying that all churches and faith organisations play a critical role in the spiritual development of the state and of the country. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again tomorrow for more. You can also visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.